I have Charcot-Marie-Tooth type 1A, which is the most common type. My particular version of the disease was a randomly inherited, so a genetic mutation, a de novo mutation. So that means that no one else in my family has it. So it was a big learning curve in terms of how CMT was going to impact me in my life. CMT impacts my mobility, particularly in my feet and legs, causes weakness, difficulty walking, poor proprioception, numbness, tingling. I also have some hand weakness. I've had a number of surgeries for injuries that I've incurred because of CMT. And I would say overall, CMT really impacts my walking and makes walking very tiring and difficult. In my day-to-day life, I'm mostly impacted by CMT because it makes it really hard to walk. So I had a couple of big foot surgeries about a year ago now. Prior to those surgeries, I could not walk without braces. Even to the bathroom was incredibly painful because of total foot drop on my right leg and pretty severe foot drop on my left leg. After my surgeries, my foot drop has improved, but I still have a lot of weakness, and the foot drop is not so improved that like I can walk without braces. So so a lot of numbness, a lot of weakness, difficulty dorsiflexion, or like with dorsiflexion lifting up my toes to take a step. So now after my surgeries, I went back into the braces because they really improved my quality of life. So after my surgeries, I was having to make the decision about, do I go back into braces or do I try to push myself to get as much as I can out of life without braces? And it was a really difficult decision. I had a lot of conversations with my orthotist, Ken Cornell. And he told me, I was asking him like, look, how do I make the decision about whether or not I want to wear the braces and how often I want to wear them? And he said something that really struck me, which was, do they improve your quality of life? And the answer was a resounding yes. I was exhausted just thinking about going to the grocery store and walking around and pushing pushing the cart and carrying the groceries into my house without braces. Like I would dread activities like that. And with my braces, it's a total breeze. So to me, it was kind of a no-brainer after he framed it like that. It made my day-to-day activities so much less mentally and physically exhausting. So when I was in high school, it was the first time I had Allard AFOs recommended to me. And I was 16 and trying to fit in for high school. Like all the normal high school anxiety was already there. I did not need leg braces on top of that. So I really resisted them for as long as possible. Until I went to Camp Footprint, which is a camp for kids with CMT put on by the CMTA, the CMT Association. And the camp director looked at me walking and he said, I think you should consider getting braces. Like they might really help you. And at that point, I was surrounded by plenty of other people who were also wearing braces. And I saw them wearing them with a sense of pride and as if they was just like a pair of socks. Like it was no big deal. So I thought, okay, I'm going to give these a try. So I went to an orthotist in the Boston area, Ken Cornell, and he advised me to try on these Allard Blue Rockers. And to be clear, this was like 10 years after I had been recommended them when I was a high schooler. And I think now I was more ready to accept that I needed braces. Actually, before I tried on the Blue Rockers, I had really bad foot drop. So I tried a few foot drop devices, like some ankle clips or things like that. And they weren't really doing the trick. They were really uncomfortable and I needed more stability in addition to the help with the foot drop. So I tried on the Allard AFOs and Ken helped me figure out how to walk in them because it's like you're using totally different muscle groups and your gait is totally different. And once I realized what it felt like to walk with Allard AFOs, I had two thoughts. Number one, is it always this easy for people to walk? Because if it is, that is not fair. Like this is a breeze. Like it was totally changing my perspective on how people experience walking, maybe without CMT or with braces. And my second thought was like, my life will be changed forever because I was able to do things that I could never do before. And This past summer, I was abroad and I was able to walk 6 or 7 miles in a day without any problems. I mean, I was physically exhausted, but I could barely walk across the grocery store without the braces. And now they had allowed me to walk 6 or 7 miles getting around Europe, no problem. So, yeah, what a gift.